there's news about Paul George and the Clippers, how the Clippers don't want to give him like the full max extension. And I understand why, because obviously the Clippers haven't won anything since him and Kawhi have teamed up. The Clippers extended Kawhi. They extended Kawhi to 3 years for $152 million. So that's $50 a year. Does Kawhi Leonard deserve that? I mean, what he's done with the Clippers, I don't know, because when he plays, when he's healthy, he's amazing. When he's healthy, he is amazing. And you can't take that away from him. But he hasn't been healthy. And that's the truth. Kawhi Leonard just hasn't been healthy, bro. What I always say, when Kawhi Leonard is healthy, he's a top 10 player in the NBA. And that's facts. Like that's facts. He's a top 10 player in the NBA when he's healthy. And he just hasn't been there. Paul George has actually played more games than him. But Paul George hasn't been healthy either. So the report saying that the Clippers could give him 4 years, $221. That's $53 a year. And he could get from, say, obviously you hear the rumors about Philadelphia, Orlando, etc. They can offer him 4 years, $212. Really not that big of a difference, but obviously they don't want to give him the full $221. And Paul George has to think about it. Does he want to stay in LA? Obviously, California, where he's from, obviously where his family's at, or do you want to uproot your family and go somewhere else? Like, he has the decision to make. I think the Clippers are going to re-sign him. The only reason I say that is because you have this new arena. Like, they have this new arena coming out next year, and you want your star players, you want to attract fans to the game. Like, nothing against role players, but I don't want to go into an arena where I see, like, Brandon Boston, Zubas on the big screen when you walk up. I don't want to see that. I want to see the guys like Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Maybe if they do resign Russell Westbrook, or if they resign James Harden. That's who I want to see when I walk up to the door. Like, oh my God, these are the star players? Yeah, okay, let's go. I want to see that. So I think that they will resign. I think they might give him a little bit more than Kawhi. Do I think they give him the full 221? Probably not. But I think they do go over that because like he is their second best player on the team. And that's just facts. If you want to say James Harden, that's fine. But he is their second best player. Now, should the Clippers I saw people saying they probably regret giving him that contract extension early. Look, Kawhi Leonard is the best player. And you're going to give your best player, your face of the franchise, this type of money. Now, it probably was lower, obviously, but Kawhi Leonard, he took what he got. He did. He was healthy this season. He played the most games with the Clippers in a minute, and he got his money. So, I mean, I'm not upset that they gave him the money. Now, would they have gave him the same amount if they would have known that he was basically going to miss majority of the series against the Mavericks? There's a chance they probably don't. There is a chance. There is a world where they probably say, hey, Kawhi, you always get hurt around this time, or you miss the season. Like, we need you in the playoffs, but you're not healthy, and we probably won't give you an extension. There is a world where that does happen. But they gave it to him, so you can't do nothing about that. I think they do resign Paul George, like I said, to somewhat, maybe a little bit over that extension Kawhi got, maybe like 160, 170, something around there for 3 years. I think they do resign James Harden. I think they want to bring this same squad back, man. You got no choice. And plus, you got no draft picks. So you can't even go out in the first round and get even an okay, decent player rookie. So the Clippers, they got decision to make. Paul George, he got decision to make. I already said, like, if Paul George does say if he goes to Philly, teams up with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, I'm not upset. I don't think the Sixers should prioritize getting another star and just prioritize getting role players. but I wouldn't be upset at it. I truly wouldn't be upset. They would be formidable in the East. I'll say that. They'll be top 3 as usual, but they'll be formidable. But overall, I think Paul George stays with the Clippers because he's from California, and I think he just doesn't want to leave there. And the Clippers, they want to re-sign him because you get it. You got a new arena. You got to attract the fans, man. You got to. So that's it for that. And another thing for Jimmy Butler, I don't like. There are reports. They're saying that the Sixers, if they do trade for Jimmy Butler, they're ready to give him a max contract extension. And they say that they regret trading him. And I think they do regret trading him. He did help them get to the second round. And if it wasn't for a Kawhi Leonard triple bounce, there's a chance they probably go to the conference finals, beat Milwaukee, and maybe win the finals. There's a chance. Because they did sign Tobias Harris over him. Like, that's just facts. They signed Tobias Harris over him. And Jimmy Butler, even though he doesn't, to his standards, play like he does in the playoffs in the regular season, you still want Jimmy Butler. He's like that leader that you want in the locker room. And I think he will have Joel Embiid in check, make sure he's good, and have him ready close to like the playoffs. And then you have Tyrese Maxey. Like, Jimmy Butler would really be the third option because Tyrese Maxey, I think, is the second option automatically. So he's not gonna be able to guide. And to his credit, we have seen Jimmy Butler take teams with way less talent to a finals. We've seen it. Like, we have seen it. And just now think of it, if he does have talent, how far he would go. He will probably be able to but he will probably able to help them get far in the playoffs. Obviously, Sixers haven't made the conference finals in years. So he will help them. Do I think that he will trade him to the Sixers though? I don't think so. I don't think, like, the Heat, to their credit, they're still a threat to all these other teams in the East. And if you're trading him to the Sixers, that makes you guys weaker, if we're being honest. The extent, like Jimmy Butler said, he wants 2 years, 113. That's $56 million a year. And Jimmy Butler, I think Jimmy Butler is 35. I have to check. Jimmy Butler is 34. Jimmy Butler is 34 years old, and you're basically gonna give a 34-year-old $50 million. And especially when y'all don't really win a championship. Pat Riley in his head probably thinking like, I don't know if I want to give a 34-year-old 50 million. He's going to be 35 in September. And what Jimmy Butler has done for the Heat, he probably does deserve it, but they haven't won anything. Yeah, you guys have been very competitive. Don't get me wrong. You guys have been competitive in the East, been beating up good teams. Obviously, they beat the Celtics, they beat the Bucks. So you got to give them credit for that. But I don't think Jimmy Butler's really worth $50 million. And I don't think they trade him. Now, if they do trade him, hey, that's gonna be a nice big three in Philly though. I would probably put them as, like, if they do trade for him, and depending on what else they surround him with, they could probably be second best team in the East. I would probably put them over. I would definitely put them over Milwaukee. Probably put them over the Knicks. And I wouldn't say they're better than Boston still, but that would be a formidable big three. But the Sixers say they're ready, man. They're trying to win while Joel Embiid is in his prime. Yes, Joel Embiid gets hurt every year. Like, knock on wood, hope he stays healthy. But sometimes it's like, bro, you just know somebody's gonna get hurt. You just know. So I mean, I hope he stays healthy. But if they get Jimmy Butler, man, that helps them a lot. But I don't think Pat Riley's gonna trade that man unless Jimmy Butler literally asks for a trade. If he goes to Pat Riley and say, hey, look, man, I want this 2-year 113, and if y'all don't do it, just trade me. That's the only way. I don't think they're just gonna trade him just to trade him. So, like, I think Jimmy Butler obviously stays with the Heat for at least one more year. Has a player option for $50 million. So he most likely, if he has another good year, obviously he declines that, then signs another big deal, probably with the Heat or somewhere else. But I think he does stay this year. I don't think they trade him. And plus, the Heat are trying to get other players. They're trying to trade for other players to come to Miami because they know they need one more piece. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, Zach LaVine, DeJounte Murray, etc. Like those type of players. So I think they keep Jimmy, and he just stays with the Heat for at least this year.